Yes.
To follow up on Doug's question, immigration, does that mean you are against amnesty?
I'm not sure for or against. There is no way we can export 17 million people.
All small Western veterans we're talking about.
Well, wait. I think the first thing we need to do is register. And then I think we need to have people stand in line for citizenship along with everybody else. If an amnesty is immediate citizenship, I'm against that. Because all you tell the world is that, hey, come on, every 10 years there'll be an amnesty and you'll be fine. Just duck down low enough. And that can't happen. I think it's complicated. I think there are solutions to it, but we cannot just keep making citizens out of people that try to come into our country illegally. It's not fair to the people that are waiting in line outside of our country for their opportunity.
I understand that in articles that I found in the News Journal and others, that your company took $330 million in TARP, government taxpayers' money in 2009, and your compensation as one of its board of directors gave you $20,470 in 2008, and in 2009 it soared to $92,991. Have you paid back any of the funds? Also, are you eligible to receive any more? And one more thing, the Federal Election Commission in the last election cycle in 2008 reports that you had given contributions to Joe Biden, the turncoat, and Joe Biden and Arlen Specter, the turncoat, at that time. Are you continuing to support Joe Biden?
Okay, let's start with the Joe Biden because that's very easy and very quick. About 5 years ago, my children were in school in Archmere Academy, and we had a pedophile situation. The priests had been fired, they had been sent away, but they had worked their back to the school through the finance department. They weren't teaching, they didn't have access to the kids, but they had a plan to close the school and live on the endowment. And it was pretty startling, and the headmaster came to me and said, they're going to fire me. And I said, can they? And he said, yes. And I said, get a committee together. Get the most public, the most vocal Catholics around you. Let's get some money contributed to the schools so that you at least have the ability to keep the good teachers because they wouldn't give a raise, they wouldn't give a merit increase, whatever. The bottom line was Joe Biden held the hearings, the TV cameras, and all of the fuss at home while I flew to Rome to meet with the Abbot General to talk to him about doing something about that. The Abbot General said he only had jurisdiction over the Father Superior, and 3 days later, the Abbot General from Rome was in Delaware at Archmere Academy, and he had replaced the Father Superior, and the school was saved. And after that happened, I gave one check for $1,000 and said, thank you, Joe, for being part of that. I have never given to Joe Biden again before, never to Bo, but for that I was grateful because we saved, I think, one of the best high schools in this state. I may have given it to him early in his career, but I don't believe, but I'd have to check. Let me check that, I'm not sure. I did early on, I don't remember giving it to him in the last 6 or 8 years, but like I said, I really won't say anything that I'm not sure, so I'll be happy to check if you'd like an answer on that.
What about the TARP?
Let me tell you, you know when you drive around and you see all those Wilmington Trust banks? I wish that was my business, but it's not. I was asked by the bank to go on the board and to help in that board function, particularly, I guess it's 3 years now, through this very troubled time. Let me tell you what a board fee is. It requires you to put your neck on the line, your professional reputation on the line, and to expose you to shareholder suits and all kinds of suits for what happens at that bank as you guide management. And for that, you get $30,000 a year. Now you have maybe 10 meetings a year, and most of them are 2-day meetings. There's committee meetings. There's all kinds of things that you get for that $30,000. And I remember the first year I took half of it in cash and saved the other for stock options. The second year I took half of it in cash and saved the other for stock options. So in the third year, I said, you know, the price is down, I think I'll take it all in cash. So I took my 30, and I took the value of my 15 the year before and the value of my 15 for the first year, and it came to help me 30, 15, 15, 45, 60, and then there were some committee fees in there. The bank was required by the federal government to take TARP money. The government refused to let the bank repay the TARP money. This is a bank that's strong. Well, if you were making the kind of interest on that money, why would you want it back? They had to give up the dividend to all of us that own stock, because the dividend for that money, that TARP money they gave us, is $4 million a quarter. The dividend for everyone, for the shareholders, is $700,000. And they don't want that money to come back. First of all, they don't want anything to go wrong in the bank. If you have loans that come up and they don't like commercial real estate and they don't like downstate, and they just say, well, make sure you have the capital. It's a very tricky time. Regulation right now for the banks is very difficult. I didn't take that TARP money. The bank did. They were told they couldn't leave the room without taking it, even though they felt they didn't need it, because there were banks who needed to take it, and they didn't want the public then to know that these 7 banks were in trouble and these 4 weren't. So they said, everybody, you're going to take it, and you'll give it back in a rate that we say you